To use your CompreDrive, switch it on using this power switch on the side. Above it you also have an emergency stop button that you can push to stop the CompreDrive motor at any point, and to reset it, pull it out and then power cycle the CompreDrive again. Here on the side you also have a USB connection for connection to a PC, an SD slot for firmware update, and a digital input-output port, for example for hardware synchronization with a potentiostat. And on the front you have two buttons, one to turn the light on inside the CompreDrive and one to open the door. Once the door is open, the motor cannot run, so it's safe to operate inside the CompreDrive. And once you have prepared your cell and closed the door, then it's possible to start the experiment, and once it is running, it is no longer possible to open the door using this switch. To insert the CompreCell in the CompreDrive with the HC Addon, insert the cell into the jacket and also align the hole for the temperature sensor with a hole on the jacket. And you can use the included clamp to clamp the cell in place. And then you can take the PT100 temperature sensor and insert it into the cell. Make sure that the bottom part of the CompreCell is correctly located in the peak centering ring. It should not sit on top of the peak, but the cell should only rest on the gold-plated surface. If you have the H Addon, in a similar way, insert the cell into the jacket, aligning the hole for the temperature sensor with the hole on the jacket. And use the screwdrivers to tighten the jacket onto the cell. And also tighten this outer screw. And then insert the temperature sensor into the hole and use the clamp to secure the cell in place. Make sure that the bottom part of the CompreCell is correctly located in the centering ring of the CompreDrive. To apply some pressure to your cell, we go to CompreDrive Control, and here at the top you have some buttons. At the top left you have buttons to connect to the CompreDrive and to a temperature controller. You also have a button to build and run procedures, and then a button for selecting the measurement cell. If I click this, I can choose which cell is currently in the CompreDrive, and this will determine the limits for temperature and force, and also the calculation between force and pressure. And at the moment I have a CompreCell 12C inside, which is okay. And the next button is to approach the CompreDrive, and this is currently disabled because, as you can see here on the bottom left, the door is currently open, so we're not able to approach it. So to approach the CompreDrive, we first have to close the door. And now you can see the door is closed, the CompreDrive is idle, and the approach CompreDrive button is enabled, so I can click it. Then I get to again select the cell I use. And in the next dialog I can choose the sample thickness if I want. I can also just click OK if I don't know. But if I choose some value here, then the approach will be a bit faster, because the CompreDrive can approach at a faster speed until it thinks that it's close to the top. And now the CompreDrive is approached, and we can see that it's in control loop. So now it's regulating the force. And to the right of the status icon, we can see what force and pressure is currently applied, the maximum values, and also the set point. And if we have a temperature controller connected, we can also see the current temperature and its set point. And we also have an emergency stop button right here. The current force and temperature values are also displayed in this plot. And on the left-hand side, we have a manual control available now. So we can set force or pressure set points, for example, in kilonewtons or in megapascal. So I can apply, for example, 100 megapascal, I press apply, and now you can see that the force increases as it approaches its new set point. And if we have a temperature controller connected, of course, we can also apply temperature set points here manually. And here below we can also choose some information about the data collection. So for example, how often we should sample. We can also save the data to a file or choose to start data saving continuously as we record it. This is all for manual control, so if you just input values here manually, but if you use procedures, then the data will be stored automatically with the procedure. And after my experiment is done, I can click this button again, which is now labeled Retract CompreDrive. Now we can see that it's retracting, so it's going down again. And when it's done, the door button will flash to indicate that it's possible to open the door again.